when you say that it's the citizens to do it, but the citizens try every day. Election has been turned to war. You're telling someone who is given a choice between your life and your ballot paper. And I tell you, a lot of people are going to choose the choice of their lives. So in as much as we're saying that all of these things has to do with the citizens, yes, citizens are spectators in a way, but at the same time, for every time they have tried to participate, they're always being killed. They're always being, are taken out of the game. So to what extent do we keep blaming the citizens? I will give them their blame, when it's time to do that. But we also have to understand the environment in which people find themselves. First of all, I see a lot of young people here. Amazing. And anyone that was born 1999, and the reason why I know that because my son, I gave birth to my son in 1999, they're 26 or almost 26. Anyone that is born before November, right? We're in November right now. Either early November or before November, you're 26. That's a full-grown adult. That's almost 30 years. That's how long democracy has been. And most of the young people, they don't even remember military. Some of them were even those that are above 26, they were quite young when we had military. So they really don't, know much about it in terms of experiencing it. But my generation, we the older generation, but we experienced it, we were militarized, and then we turned into these zombies who are told, stand. And we ask, how do you want us to stand? Very straight, or we should still stoop while we are standing. And so, in a way, democracy and politics, we didn't teach them, we were not taught, we were not spoken about. I'm in secondary school, who's going to be talking about democracy when you have a military head of state that gives a decree? Maybe they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and then he decides to give a decree, and it goes, and that's it. So we've not understood that it's something that it's so critical that we are supposed to be part of. And so a lot of people always assume also that government does not affect their lives. And I tell you, every adult that is here, we are all responsible for that also. We are all the problems of Nigeria, myself included. I realized that on my 40th birthday. My 40th birthday was on 12th December 2013. Before then, I didn't bother who was president. When I heard Professor Denta reeling off those facts, I'm like, what you concern me? I was living my life because I wanted to make money. In Nigeria, if you're poor, you're faceless, nameless, and voiceless. You're not seen as a human being. And so I grew up in a ghetto, in a place called Kwanahure in Kano, where most of the hoodlums came from. And so I wanted to have education, I wanted to have my money. When I finished school, I focused on my business, I'm a trader, and all of that. And I didn't care about governance. By that age, I realized that I, as a teenager who was very angry at Nigeria, sometimes would question my parents and ask them, why are you silent while the country is being destroyed? Why are you silent? Why this? I realized I had also become an adult, and there were other children, the way I used to be, and now so the fingers were now pointing at me. And so I decided I was going to start speaking on national issues. 4 months after that, Chibok's abduction, happened. So there are quite a number of us who are just like, okay, you don't care, you don't know what's going on. But what we have done is that most of us like to play God, and we like to play government. What do I mean? You know that feeling you have, somebody asks you, oh, please, can you pay my rent? And then you pay their rent, and they are dobale, you thank you, ma, thank you, sir. You know what I tell people? I don't want to help anybody. I want people to not need my help. A friend in need is not always a friend indeed, though, because some people want you to always be in need. We've got into a situation where the elite in Nigeria want people to be in the need so that they will play government and they will play God in those people's lives, and then they will be worshipped. Everybody wants to be worshipped. So if we have a system that works, it's not only those who are in politics, even the elite. That's why you see that somebody will travel from here, jackpot to abroad, where systems are working, and then the person is supporting bad governance. I'm like, are you okay? You are enjoying good governance over there. If you good, why you not stay here? So she say, I be her sister, and her sister will be a dope people. Say they drop pigeon as they talk. So you see, that's bringing it home to every one of us taking that responsibility. Government when government does something in your life, they will always demand something. They will demand for your vote, right? God asks for loyalty. I'm a Muslim, and the greatest crime you can commit in Islam is shirk, which is to add anything with God. You understand? And then it said God is a jealous God. So if God is also asking for our loyalty, if you're worshiping me, worship me alone. Don't put me with something. The elite of Nigeria, when they help people, what do they ask for? Nothing. They just like being good, and that whole thing that it makes them feel good. And do we really ask people what are their democratic leanings? Do we teach them what good governance is? Do we ask people what politics is? There is something I always say. Democracy without education is a disaster. Do you know why? A professor, Professor Denta finished speaking now. He was reeling from Marxism, new Marxism. Almost as he finished, person will not go school until you vote finish, person go cancel and vote. That's what democracy is all about. And that's why you see in countries where things are working, what they do is that they insist on everybody getting good quality primary and secondary school education, because those things are not for you or as a person alone. It's for the country. For the country to grow and develop, there has to be a minimal level of education that everybody attains. So that when you're talking about governance, because many people do not understand the relationship between God and governance. And unfortunately, you see that we have culprits. And you know the number one culprit? If you know me, you know I've said it a lot of times. Our religious rulers. They are the number one culprits. They want to sell cheap miracles. The Malam is waiting that when I want to go and get visa to this country, I'll go and meet him and say, Malam, please pray for me. I will drop Sadaqah. The pastor is waiting when I want to go to visa, I will drop tithes or I will drop whatever. Meanwhile, there are other, and then when I get it, I will now come and say, yes, you know, it was the prayers he did all this while. I'll soon come and say, it was the prayer he did all this while. Meanwhile, there are countries where people have passports that they don't need visas to go to those places. And so we have a symbiotic relationship between our religious rulers and our religious and our political rulers. So what is that symbiotic? How many people are doing biology here? Hello? Biology is no longer compulsory for students. It's one of the sciences. Oh, that's good. They made it compulsory during our time. Everybody had to pick biology. It was one of the sciences where everybody had to do it. So symbiotic relationship, you know, let me explain it. I can't remember the definition now. So in a way, for the political rulers, they need the citizens to be subdued so that they cannot speak up. And then for the religious rulers, like I said earlier, they want to sell cheap miracles. So they work hand in hand together. That's why you hear things like protest is haram. Somebody waking up and telling you protest is haram. Oh, when you want to see. But when they are looting money, he's not coming out to say that looting money is haram. It is my protest that I'm coming out to do that is not haram against the looting of the money that is being done. But when they work together, remember, those ones, then citizens no longer can challenge government, they can't speak, you know, they can't do anything, and then it continues that way. So we have that going on. But the other thing, I think I think it was Prof that mentioned something about, I can't remember the way he put it, but the first thing that came to my mind as he was speaking was that parents, we all want children to be outspoken, right? To show their, I can't remember how I put it, but when they try it on us, what happens as parents? We shut them down. The first set of dictators that Nigerians came across were their parents. Oh, you are a stubborn child, because I got a lot of beating. When the child will challenge and ask questions, but that's where politics starts. It starts from the home. If you don't tell your children, if you don't allow democratic setting in your house, how are they going to learn it outside? Democratic setting doesn't mean that, oh, it's anything the child said. No. There are certain things you put it to vote. True.